Robert Frost wrote a poem about you. I'm going to share it with you. This is your poem. And so I ask that you join me now. Join me here, standing in a wooded path where two roads diverge. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. And sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. You have taken a road less traveled by. Your being here is a demonstration that you have chosen another path. And without boasting, without pride, without hubris, but with self-respect, with compassion, with reverence, you accept this fact. You accept that you have chosen a different path. You have chosen a path of radical love. You have chosen a path that is open to everything, to loving everything, knowing that it is only when we love and embrace everything that we have the freedom to release that which no longer serves us or another. Nothing can be released until it is embraced, until it is discerned, until it is understood. That's why the debates and conflicts that we see in the world do not lead to solution, because different points of view are not embracing and understanding the other. And nothing can be released until it is. This is a spiritual truth, and it plays out in our human reality. Much of the world does not believe in miracles. They believe only in what they can see. As I said earlier, they only believe in this. The question is, can you be open? Open to what you don't see and what you don't understand. Once, Jean Houston, who is still very much alive, and I know will be for decades to come. She's a cultural anthropologist by training and a deeply spiritual woman. She brings the study of human culture and human advancement and human consciousness. She marries it with spiritual understanding, and the result is mystical. Well, so many years ago, she was living with an Aboriginal tribe deep in the jungles. They had no radio, no telephone. They had no means of communication over long distance whatsoever. You got the picture. So one day she goes up to the host, her Aboriginal host, and she says, I need to get a message to the airport, which is a long way away, because I need to charter a small plane for next week. The host says, we'll take care of that. She said, how? You have no telephone, no radio? There were no drummers in the trees. You might be thinking, they had drummers in the trees. No, they didn't. He said, no problem. I'll take care of that. And he proceeds to walk up to a tree. A tree. And he relays her message to the tree. And he turns to her and says, no worries, the plane will be there. She didn't have much choice in the matter. So a week later, after this long journey, she ends up at the airport. And lo and behold, the plane is there. The plane isn't always there. It's there by appointment. And she says to the pilot, what happened? The pilot said, oh, we got the tree message. Now she says some people think that she was duped. She says no. She said anthropologists are filled with stories of laws of alternate realities. Laws of alternate realities. And she said they do not put them in their scholarly journals, in their articles. They leave them out. This is a woman who has studied this for decades and decades and decades. She studied under Margaret Mead, the world-renowned anthropologist and deeply spiritual mystic. And in her mentor, she says that she saw a miraculous mind, a miraculous life all the time. All the time. She would see synchronicities abounding around Margaret. Always. The right person showing up. The right book showing up. The right slip of the tongue, which led to the next great insight. Being at the right place to receive the next step in the project or the idea she was working on. Jean said to Margaret, she said, Margaret, you lead a blessed life. And Margaret Mead said, I am blessed. Yes, that is the condition of my life. I am blessed. That's what she lived every day of her life. And on those rare occasions when things weren't working out, when things weren't falling into place for Margaret, she would yell and scream at the universe until the universe seemed to respond, yes, Margaret. And things would return to their normal, blessed, miraculous state. Does that work?
Yes.
Yelling and screaming at the universe? What's that about? You know what it was about. What she was doing was releasing the stuck and stagnant thoughts. The crystallized thought pattern that she was immobilized in, she was releasing that in her yelling and screaming and shattering it and opening herself up to the new, the unfolding realities. That's what she was doing. If you have a need to yell and scream to break thought patterns, the habits that you're in, yell and scream. Kick and shout, just not anybody else. Even if you feel compelled to. Don't do that. It might get back to me. In a moment, we're going to go into a time of meditation. We're going to further create a space for miracles, for your miracles. For you see, and you already do see, and you already do hear, and you already do feel, that the only thing coming between you and your myriad miracles is a stuck thought, a misbelief about yourself, or about another, or about a condition or a circumstance of your life. And once you realize what that is, you are then free to release it. See, to realize something is to embrace it. We think of embracing as hugging. But to realize something is to mentally hug something. You don't have to like what you realize. That's not necessary. But we do need to realize what is. And almost everything is going on inside us, even when it feels like it's outside there. But we embrace it, we realize it wherever it is. And once we do, then we can release it. And in that releasing, we open ourselves to our miracles, our natural miracles, which is the divine flow of life. It is how we are meant to live. Margaret Mead is one of the many models. One of the many models. And she passed only in 1978. It wasn't 2,000 years ago or 2,500 years ago. This is a very real way to live. This is the way we have chosen to live. This is the road less traveled that we are on. And so let us now prepare for our meditation.